listening to the Startup Scale Up Show, a podcast that inspires entrepreneurs to create meaningful businesses and pursue their passions. My name is Demi Samande and I am a furniture manufacturer, best known for documenting my move to Lagos, Nigeria for hopes of business opportunities. And I'm sitting down with entrepreneurs from across the continent to talk about their process, the lessons they have learned, and how to make real impact. Welcome to Susu. Our guest today is Ebele Udo, an award-winning entrepreneur and a disruptive force in Africa's tech and fashion industry. Recently named Entrepreneur of the Year 2019 at the Eloy Awards, a renowned platform that celebrates women making impact and driving change in their sector. In 2016, she founded African Designers Mall, an e-commerce platform that provides fashion and art for business owners and awards them access to potential customers globally. ADM exists for the love of fashion and art. Ebele believes in empowering individuality. Her mission is to create a global technology platform for premium fashion and art, connecting creators and consumers from Africa to the world. She's also the creative artistic director for ADM PROJECTS, a sustainable and artisan-driven fashion brand made in Africa. She has a passion to create and uses this platform to empower and improve the standard of living for artisans through raw hand paintings done on design clothes, which are sold across the world. She founded Brandbox Africa in 2019, a tech company that is impacting businesses using digital solutions. Ebele, welcome to Susu Podcast.
Thanks for having me. Thank you so much.
That intro is pretty impressive.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for agreeing to join me on Susu. Now, your platform is one of those platforms that I've been engaged with for a while. Having come to Nigeria, I was very intentional about observing those who are doing it very, very well. And your platform is one of the ones that I came across, and I've stayed tuned ever since because you give really good content.
Thank you.
Really
Appreciate
good
it.
stuff. And I learn a lot when I go on your pages and I follow you and I see the creative things that you're doing, the wonderful, interesting, innovative things you're doing with tech and fashion. And then your branding company, Brandbox, and some of the tips and the little lot of hacks that you give everybody every day, telling us how to do it better. So for me, when I was thinking, okay, I need to have a conversation about personal branding, I went straight to Ebele.
Amazing.
Because you understand intrinsically what personal branding is about. And I thought it would be fantastic to have you on the show to speak to our audience and to kind of just share some of those hacks that you've been so generous with on your platform. Share it with us and tell us what personal branding really is about and how we can do it better. But before we delve into that, give us a little history on and background and how Ebele came about. Just delve into that childhood for me and just paint me a picture.
Absolutely. So, Ebele is an Igbo girl. I grew up in the East. My dad is a medical doctor, so he lived most of his life in the States. So when he moved back, he wanted to have a new life here, because he had a family there, but, things happened and all. So my mom is a nurse, so they got married, doctor and nurse romance, So and we are 4 girls and a boy, and my dad wanted us to grow up in the East. So what brought me to Lagos is NYSC to live here.
Why did Dad particularly want you to grow up in the East?
Because he loved the culture. He wanted us to know how to speak Igbo. He wanted us to be grounded, with knowing who we are, where we're from. So we had, we're not particularly all about having extended family. He just wanted us to be around Igbos. So I grew up in the East. I schooled there. My university was in University of Nigeria in Nsukka. I was a medical student there before I left to.
So you followed Daddy's footsteps.
Yeah, everybody always believed, oh, she's brilliant, so she has to be like her father. But guess what? I became the rebel. So
as we all do.
So in my 3rd year, I said, Dad, I can't do this. I just have to do what I really love to do. But so I changed to economics. Now I'm
In the
doing
third
tech.
year?
Yeah.
Isn't that final year?
No. It's
It's not?
3 more years to go.
Oh, okay. So medicine here is six years. Okay.
Then 1 year housemanship, so 7 years. Yeah.
So when you dropped out,
Yeah.
and you went into economics,
Yes, yeah, I did.
was that any different? Was it any better for you?
So even though I'm not practicing it, I just needed out of medicine. It wasn't what I wanted to do, and I was drawn more to economics, entrepreneurship, creating things, understanding finances, understanding things I had to do. I love making money, So I wanted something.
I don't want to say it, but I feel like I should. That's the Igbo girl in you, right?
Exactly. That's why I started with, I'm a typical Igbo girl.
I see.
Yeah, proudly Igbo. So but after uni, I told my parents I can't be here. I need to go to Lagos because I know that's where everything happens. But before that, I usually come to Lagos on holidays, see my friends, see people, and go back. So my mom said, "No, you're too young to go to Lagos. How will you leave alone?" I rebelled.
Oh wow!
I left.
This is for NYC. So you got posted to Lagos for NYC?
No, I made it work.
Oh wow!
So I was posted somewhere else, and I made it. Okay, so I'm not supposed to say that, but I made it work. So I'm here. I served in Etisalat, and that's what got my interest in tech in the first place.
All right, so Etisalat is where you got your zest for tech.
Absolutely.
So tell me a little bit about Etisalat and that journey, because I wouldn't have necessarily put it, when somebody tells me Etisalat, I think phone credit.
Oh yes.
I don't think tech.
Yeah.
Probably wrong, but so tell me a little bit about how that came about.
So there's actually a huge tech back end that is back in telecoms. That they have tech resolution units where they can resolve customer issues, and the whole tech thing there. So usually they don't have youth corpers, serve in that section of the company. So for the first time, they did a random test, amongst all of us that were posted to Etisalat, and the top 4, were accepted to be in that level.
So that was just really random.
Yeah, it was random.
Something unprecedented.
Yeah,
right?
Let's know who the smart ones are, impromptu. So 4 of us got up there and we started resolving issues for customers. We started learning. So it was really good for me. I loved it. But leaving, you have to start again from level 1, and I wasn't going to do that. So I said, no, I have to go.
So how long was you at Etisalat for?
1 year.
A year, okay.
Youth service is 1 year.
Oh, yes, of course, yes.
Yeah, it's 1 year. So I went ahead to work in another tech company. They do software solutions. So I got in there. I was really glad. I was managing the financial and oil and gas sector.
In your first job?
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty impressive. I'm sure the medical doctor dad was very proud.
Yeah, absolutely.
But how long did it take for them to forgive you when you left home, though?
I don't think they did till I started making money.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
It
was emotional. They offered me a lot of stuff. Do
yeah,
you need this to stay? But it wasn't about that. It was about what I wanted. And I'm actually very stubborn when I make a decision. So
as an entrepreneur, you need to have that.
Yeah, I take a lot of risk. So it started from when I was pretty young. So they let me go because they knew back then that if they don't let me go, I'll still do it anyway. So they accepted, but not fully accepted.
Yes.
Yeah.
Was mum still checking in to see if you're eating on time and not sleeping in past 8 a.m. in the morning? Well, then.
No, not really, because she was heartbroken.
Okay, so she was forming upset.
Yeah, but I'm still her daughter, so yeah. So what I did in the tech company was analyze the tech that the oil and gas have currently, if it's optimizing, they're using it, if it's serving the purpose they bought it for, or financial sector, and I kind of prefer a better solution and will sell to them. The company I was working for will sell to them and give them better solution for the issues they're having. So that's it. After a year and 6 months, I realized that the fashion industry lacked something in this region, which was people could not buy fashion online. They could buy, but a particular type of well-finished product.
ready-made.
Yeah, ready-made and good brands, because a lot of people had issues with what they ordered versus what they got. So it was
Yes.
always the case. So
Was
I
that
wanted
the online experience back then? Because like online is still very much a phenomenon now, and
Yeah.
it hasn't. I don't believe it's hit its peak yet compared to in other parts of the world. So which year are you referring to now? When
that
was this?
2016.
2016
Yeah,
is when you
there,
okay,
yeah,
when
there
you
were other
realised.
platforms there, but they sold everything.
Like Jumia and sorts of places like
exactly.
that.
They sold
Yes.
everything. They were not focused on fashion, you
Okay.
know. So I wanted something that would just be for African designers and people that creatives that are into art and fashion. So I was like, how can I put tech in this, you know, and it's seamless, you know.
Let me go back. Let me just take you back a little bit, because I really want to understand that moment when you realized that you were entrepreneurial. So having left home, upset mum and dad, of course, but they got over it. And then you came to Lagos, delved into this tech experience with Etisalat, and then went on to work with what's the name of the company?
Blueprint
Yeah.
Business Technologies.
Yes, I wanted to go work with Blueprint. At what point in that process and that journey did you come to the realization that you were entrepreneurial and this is something you wanted to explore?
So I've always known.
At what age?
Yeah, at I don't know. I've always known that I was gonna do big things by
But did
myself.
you even know what entrepreneurship was then?
Not really, but I just knew I was gonna shake things up. You know, I've always had that zeal. So what confirmed it for me was working for other people.
I see.
I just knew I couldn't do it. I was learning, but it wasn't going to be permanent. It wasn't my thing
Yes.
to just be told what to do. You have to do. I'm not, you know, I love to fight for what I want to get in the way I want it. So I was doing the job very well paid, but it wasn't me.
It wasn't enough?
Yeah, it wasn't enough. You know, I needed, because I knew I was doing it for someone else. You know, so I wanted to. I just woke up one night and told my boss I'm going to leave in 2 months. He was like, "What?"
You even gave notice. That's
Yeah,
considerate.
you have to.
That's considerate. The way
So,
people normally, the
yeah.
stories I hear, the way people
Yeah.
usually leave a job here is, I'm sick, you never see them again.
Yeah, so, but it taught me a lot. I learned a lot because this guy I worked for was a good entrepreneur. He was crazy.
Okay. So you felt that
So
you
I
learned.
learned, yes.
Yes.
I loved that foundation. So that's why I always say it's important to learn from someone than just start your own. So it's almost as if you're getting paid to learn how to run your business.
If you're
in
paying
the future.
attention, though, right?
Exactly.
Because a lot
I
of people
learned a lot.
don't pay attention.
No, people just work for money.
Yes.
But I wasn't working for the money. I was working to learn some principles, some strategies that he was using to get things done.
And what were some of those strategies you felt that he was teaching you indirectly?
Oh, he loves to take risk. He gets it done no matter what. If they say, oh, this company is already doing business with us, he fights to get it. So he knows when to push. He doesn't care if you're, I mean, this part is extreme. We can work from now till like 12, p.m. or 12 a.m. rather, and you have to be at work by 7.
Oh, wow.
You have to study that environment. You have to make sure you find a solution that we can sell to that company. Whether they have the solution, you just have to find something. So that strength, that push, I learned a lot. So when my staff, they think I'm crazy. But at the end of the day, the most important thing is that they are learning from me. Anybody that's worked with me, that's gone to work for someone else, always says, I really learned this from you. I'm glad I passed through your company.
That is very important.
So I could see that from what I've learned from where I was. I hope that makes sense.
All right. So Forbes did a study a while back that analyzed a bunch of individuals, and 70% of them believe that they knew how the world had perceived their personal branding. They believed that they intrinsically understood how they were seen in the public eye. Unfortunately, in reality, it was only 15% of them that actually got it right. Now, with our personal branding, what are we doing wrong? What are we doing wrong that we need to do better at? Or what are we even doing right that maybe we need to do more of. Particularly in this part of the world?
So first of all, personal branding is the story you're selling about yourself. It's what you're showing the world. It's what you're saying, this is me. You know, but online, there's so much misconception, so much confusion about what personal branding should be all about. You know, people people just want to have beautiful pages. It's beyond that, you know. So I believe what a lot of people are not getting right is the experience building part of personal branding, because it's all about selling a story to an audience. Now, the human nature, the human brain is always attentive when it's listening to stories. It's engaging. Then it finds bits and pieces of that story that connect to them. Then they hold on to it. That's your audience. So a lot of people go online and be like, even whether personal or business, they look at big companies like Apple, Nike, because they have budget for structure, for branding. They are huge. So people go like, I want to be like them. It's good to aspire to be like them, but you have to start with building experience with your audience. It's a P2P strategy. It's a person to person. It's a human level. It's not all up there, they will see you as a god. No. They want to be part of what you're selling, and they want to believe in what you're selling.
I was sort of thinking as I was preparing for our conversation today, and I was thinking to myself, in this time that we're in, particularly now more than ever before, you look at the individual brand, the personal brand, and you look at the company. And I think I read it somewhere. It's like the personal brand is 562% more engaged, has far more engagement than these corporate brands that you're mentioning, the likes of the Coca-Colas, the Apples. They have all this structure in place. They have all these funds, all this ginormous budgets. But a 16-year-old posts regularly on social media and the engagement goes through the roof, and here you are, we have this multinational companies who are struggling just to get a like. There's something going on there, isn't there? There's almost like this popularity race at the moment that people are searching for authenticity, and they don't want to be sold to. So like you said, that story, that little tiny pearl that drops when you tell your story, that makes people feel as though they can connect. Companies lack that to a certain degree, but the individuals are able to connote that, to communicate it, to really just bring it alive. What is it about that we are so addicted to?
So now companies are more drawn to personal branding than even like doing regular marketing, because they believe that these influencers or these people who have branded themselves in a particular industry have more reach, because they have real people under them, even though some people don't have real people, right? So they positioned themselves to be in that place where intentionally to be in that place where companies can reach out to them. But if you're not positioned, you can't get there.
How do we get positioned?
So I always say something. There are something I call 4 V's of branding. You must have that to be able to get there. So you must have vision, you must have value, you must have a voice, and you must have visual. Now, vision is understanding the journey you're on. What problem are you about to solve with your brand? So you need to write down how you want your brand to function. Like how my brand was 3 years ago is not what it is now. I had to intentionally move things. Now a different category of people reach out to me because I'm positioning as a fashionable tech entrepreneur. Before, a lot of people saw me as, oh, she's so fashionable. That was it. So I realized that was the story people were telling when I'm not in the room. So people were connecting more to fashion because, well, then I had just a fashion company. I didn't have a tech company. So now, because I have to align my personal brand with my business brand, I had to also adjust it to fit my story. So that vision has to be well analyzed. You have to know why you're on the journey. You have to know why you're doing this, because with that comes your content anyway. Now, okay.
No, please, please
now,
go ahead.
And also value. You have to know what your value is, because people like to connect to what you believe in, what you stand for. You can't be everything to everybody. You have to have a value. Like, okay, for example, I believe in woman empowerment. It has to show through your brand. You love branding. It has to show through your brand. So people need to, it builds authenticity from your audience as well. Then voice is the way you communicate to your audience. It has to be a feeling. It has to connect. For example, if you look at the brands you follow today, is it that you follow them because of you love the way they write, you will love the way they sound, or the way they've made their aesthetics? So all this has to be checked. Then the last is your visuals, the way you put your content, the way you put it out, video. Do you want to use video as video is the most engaging kind of content now. I use in video. I just going to use just banners. So you have to have these 4 V's in line before you even get to being an influencer or have your personal branding in check.
This episode is sponsored by Blowfish Group. Blowfish is a destination in the heart of VI where you come to disconnect and relax far from the hustle and bustle of Lagos, a popular business hotel with 60 rooms, a pool, conference room, a gym, and multiple outlets of restaurants. Okay, so just going back a little bit in the understanding your V's. Is it the 5 V's?
Yeah, the 4 V's.
The 4 V's. Understanding your 4 V's. It strikes me as the process in which a company goes through, which is outlining what your mission statement is, what it is that you're actually trying to communicate with your audience, what it is, what is within your essence, what makes you a company that somebody should pay attention to. So it's almost like you're structuring your personal brand the way you will structure
your company. It's a company.
All right. So
people are making a lot of money from this.
Yes, they are.
For some people, it's their 9 to 5.
But the problem I have, Ebele, is I find that a lot of people are doing it for
the
positioning. I don't want to use the word clout, oh Lord. Okay, clout. A lot of people are doing it without fully understanding who they are. So what they're basically doing is seeing that, okay, Bella is posting X amount of things on her socials. Let me post the same. But it's not necessarily in alignment with your own personal values.
Yeah.
So what you're basically doing in essence is you're pushing out content that is not really you.
Good.
So when you now meet these individuals, their content and them could not be more worlds apart. They're so different. So I think for me, it's okay, fine. You want to do personal brand, because quite frankly, I believe everybody has a personal brand, whether you're intentional about it or you're not, right? Yeah. There's always a personal brand there. So I think really it's being more intentional about how you want to package your personal brand. But there's a huge gap between packaging who you are in a coherent, consistent manner and just pushing out content that you think that people want to hear because it's the right thing to say or the right thing to post, or it makes you sound incredibly intelligent, or it makes you come across as someone who's super fun, but it's not really who you are. So I guess what I'm asking is, how do you go about creating the most authentic version of yourself to establish a personal brand, taking in the structure of a company and how they go about defining who they are? Quite a loaded question.
Yeah. So what I would say, personal branding is intentional, is personal, So when you're not authentic, people can tell. It can't last for long. So there's something I always call the unicorn strategy, which is the people you admire or people in your industry. You kind of look at the kind of content that are going viral on their page. They're in your industry, not just random, right? And you can see people's interaction with that particular post. You can recreate it as your own. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's so, because social media is social. You have to learn on social media. You have to give on social media. So it's not an island where it must be original content owned by you. No, you can
repurpose.
Yes,
the
you
content.
can, exactly. You can, but you can't live another person's life. Personal branding is you. It has to be you, unless of course you can be consistent being someone else. Then kudos to you.
I don't know who's doing that, but you must be exhausted. You must be tired.
Exactly.
Because it's not sustainable.
Yeah. So for you to position your, have that authentic self to be able to align with what companies are looking for, you have to have the 4 V's.
But does personal branding have to be for the purpose of getting paid for? Okay, so I run a business, right? And I don't do. I'm not looking to leverage necessarily on sort of being seen as an influencer per se, because I do believe very strongly that we're all auditioning for things that have not even happened in our lives yet. We're positioning for opportunities, but not necessarily opportunities that say, okay, here's 500k for looking pretty on your social media, which and I believe you're also going along that same journey as well. You're trying to position as an industry expert in your field, so that you can now leverage on that positioning within your business, so that your business can connect on more human level, and you can connect more. You can also connect with others on more human level, so that then your business, which is your company, is now feeding through that in an indirect way. I would believe
exactly. That's me.
So Ebele is telling her story in essence in order to authenticate her business. That is my understanding. Am I wrong or am I right?
Well, yes, because I can't really, when you're running an online business, you can't really kind of separate yourself entirely.
You can't?
No, for me. I'm talking from some people own companies and they're not even on social media.
Yes.
So I'm addressing people who want to actually build their personal brand. If you don't want to connect your business to your personal brand, then fine. But if you're for example, the way I am, I'm intentional about being an entrepreneur that runs a tech company. So everything about me says that fashion, says tech. So I'm building that authenticity about what I do through my personal brand as well.
Absolutely.
So personal brand is not really about your company, it's you. So even if your daily life is about experience you have with people, the way you address people, the experience you give, the relationship you create, the expectations. It's not really about, it must be social media. It's actually a personal thing.
So basically you're saying personal branding can be offline.
Yeah. Personal branding can be offline. You know, is what I usually say personal branding is what people say about you when you're not in the room. So it's personal. It doesn't really have to be online. It's the way you address people. It's the way you talk to people. It's the way you make people feel. It's you. It's your brand. It's who you are. So it's carving that for yourself, that story you're telling about yourself. I can just see a woman walk into a restaurant and talk rudely to an attendant. That's the person's brand. Funny enough, that's the person's brand. If I see somewhere else another day, I'm going to tell someone else, this woman is such a rude person. Do you understand? So
yes.
It has to be, it's about you. So personal branding, no matter what you're doing, whether you're online or offline, you know, the way I address people online should not be the way I don't address people offline. So it's good to connect it to your business, but even if you don't have a business, you can always, you just have to know that it's about your person. It's the story you're telling about yourself, who you are, and what you're offering to people. That's how I see personal branding. You know, especially not like how you said, if you don't want to connect it to getting paid.
Yeah, because I think it has to go further than just about money. I think that's what I'm basically saying in a nutshell, that people feel pressure to position their personal brand in the hope that somebody would be convinced that they're worth invested or given a heap of money.
That is what it is anyway, because it's a money making machine.
It's about this is why
Yeah.
I'm saying that it's great when you're able to monetize it and make an income for it. But I think to solely do it because of the money is when it becomes a little bit tricky. So this leads me to my next question is, when people try to discover, because we all have many parts, you know, Ebele is a very complex human being, and your social media cannot capture every side of you. So you sort of are intentional about the side of Ebele that you showcase on your platforms. How does somebody go about discovering who they are within the social media space in order to establish their personal brand? What was that process like for you? Because for me personally, I feel like I experiment a lot.
That's great.
There's so many sides of me. So I'm constantly I'm trying this, I'm trying that. Not because, you want to sort of fake it, but I think it's more about discovering what works for you within this space. And I think experimenting for me personally allows me to discover it in real time. I'm doing video, I'm doing blogs, I'm doing, podcast, I'm vlogging, I'm playing with a lot of things because I'll know that, okay, these things I'm experimenting with, this works, this doesn't work. So I can funnel through and then discover for me, okay, this is now the personal brand for me. So I haven't necessarily discovered the personal brand per se, because I'm still very much experimenting what that's going to look like. So what was that process for you? And what is that process currently for you in real time in terms of discovering how to go about discovering
the personal brand,
the personal brand that you want the world to see, but it's in an authentic way as possible?
So first of all, I will narrow it down to like a few headlines. One is, I just had a focus. I realized that I can't be everything to everyone, which means that I can't be in beauty, in fashion,
even though you're more than capable of
yes,
trying
even
them all,
though
yes.
Exactly. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't try. It's time. I mean, you should try. You should be ready to fail. Personal, for you to build a personal brand, you should be ready to fail, because you have to try different things. If you love fashion, you decide to start creating content on fashion. It's not working. People are not connected. You try beauty. There's nothing wrong in that. You want to blog, fine. No, if you have to fail for you to be able to know what your personal brand is really is. It's not a smooth, I just want to go into beauty, I'm going to blow. No. Some people have started beauty brands and they're not as big as people that just started a month ago. So, that's exactly.
Isn't it?
So first you have to have a focus. What do you want to address? What do you want people to learn from you? Like, I'll give myself as an example. I started giving like tips on how to digitize your business, on the budget for entrepreneurs, and also branding tips, and also people link to me about fashion and style. So it's not too much, but they're all connected to me. This is my life. I love fashion.
The camera.
Exactly.
This is Ebele, yes.
This is the Ebele of the camera. So it's natural to me. So I'm just like being intentional about showing what I love and what I'm authentic about.
Find a way to curate what you love for the social media platforms.
Exactly. So first you have to focus on what it is you want to work on. Is it beauty? Is it fashion? That doesn't mean you shouldn't experiment, right? But what are you? There's something you really, really love. You want to develop. You want people to learn from you. It could just be that you love to you like you speak well and you love talking. Like you're doing your podcast. It's something that comes to you naturally.
Yes,
if
I
it
talk
wasn't,
a lot.
even if it wasn't something you love and someone is forcing you to do it, you get exhausted, and people can see through you that you're not authentic about it.
Yeah.
So first you have to have that focus. They have to be genuine. People can literally see through your fake attitude. So I had to, sometimes I even ask on my page, do you guys think I should do this way, just to get people involved? Exactly, their feedback. Do you want me to talk more about this? You have to just be yourself. You have to talk the way you talk. You can't go from hello, how are you, to hello, how are you? you get what I mean?
Yeah.
At some point you're going to go back to how you speak, so you have to be genuine. So I'm just saying things I did to rediscover what I built my personal brand on for this past couple of, let me say, months, because I've changed and changed.
Well,
and
yes, and
yes,
you will, and I think
exactly.
that's a natural progress for me, I think.
Yeah. So personal branding is a journey. It's not static. There's always change. There's always growth. Maybe tomorrow I'm talking about politics. Who knows? So I have to reposition. I'm not changing the entire strategy. I'm just repositioning to also include that aspect of me that people have not seen.
So it's like a hierarchy then, isn't it?
Yes.
So it's like, so Ebele is this. What is the most, what is the thing that comes most natural to Ebele? Ebele is fashion. This is branding. So that is tier 1 in terms of your hierarchy. Ebele likes to dance, but is Ebele going to go on her platform and start dancing every minute? Probably not.
And sometimes
dance,
exactly. And sometimes I can just put one dance stuff and see how it goes. Do people like it? So you have to prioritize the things you love that makes you who you are. I don't like, for me, I don't put a lot of my personal life on social media.
Personal life.
Yeah. Like, you wouldn't necessarily know where I live, maybe the car I drive, who I'm with, that kind of thing. So I focus more on the entrepreneur,
the content that you want to share.
Exactly. So you have to know what you want. Then you have to tell a story. What story do you want to tell? Because if you're not telling a story, you're losing half of your potential audience.
What story are you telling on your platform?
A fashionable tech entrepreneur.
Her journey, her process.
Her person, yes.
Her rationale, her understanding, the lessons.
Exactly. So if you come
I'm saying this because I'm telling you that it's
okay, good.
Your intention is working. That's what I'm reading.
So I want to ask you a question. Do you feel that on my page? When you come to my page, what do you feel?
I feel all those things too, but then I don't want to say that everybody probably reads it, because I think we all interpret things in very, very different ways. Yeah. But it's very clear that what your intention is what I'm getting. So if I'm getting it, other people might be getting it in different volumes and ways, but it's coming across to me. And this is why I was like, okay, she's obviously very intentional about this. And because you're very intentional about it, there's certain things that you do and don't do. What do you think are the 3 top things that you make sure is the gilding light for every content that you put out?
So the 3 things I must always put there: fashion, my entrepreneurial journey, and any of my businesses. Because I'm riding on that life of an entrepreneur.
But what is the story you're telling, though? Let's say we don't want to put it as just one word. What's the 3 things that you are? Well, you've already given me 3, but what is the essence of the story? Because we all have stories. What makes Ebele's story different from Demi's story? We're both entrepreneurs, right? How is if someone is like a regular viewer watching this and it goes onto your platform, what differentiates you from everybody else, would you say?
So me, you would say she's okay, I will use first person. So Ebele is an entrepreneur that gets things done. Ebele is, what I'm selling is Ebele builds people. She helps people grow their businesses. To see how she grew hers. That's it. Because a lot of people ask me, how are you able to run, all these businesses? They think it's magic.
I need to ask you that. How are you running all these businesses? Please tell me too.
So that's what I'm doing. I'm trying to be as authentic and sincere. Because people give a lot of boo-hoo, ha-ha story. Wow, exactly. So anybody that's reached out to me personally will tell you I give them the juice that nobody will give them. In terms of, I will even give you how I run my business on a daily. Because I believe the sky is too wide for anybody to be successful. I don't have to hide anything. So that is what differentiates me. I don't hide information. If I have it, I'll give it. So I have this entrepreneur circle where I share everything about business. You know, how I'm going. If I'm going through something in my office, I will even share that, like, I'm going through this right now. I think I have to do this to get this. Guys, watch out. Let's see if it will work. So it's like my everyday life.
So engagement is an important thing for you?
Yes, it is. It's important. Engagement is more important than likes and followers to me. Sometimes I don't even have as much likes. I don't care. But the thing is, the people I'm impacting, some people go like, oh, I learned something from your page and I implemented it and it's really worked for me. That's all I care about. The impact, the experience, that is what will thrive. You know? So, but people, I mean, there's nothing wrong if you're focusing on followers and likes or whatever. But it depends on what your values are. Well, somebody's value could be, I want to have 1 million followers. That's their own value. That's their own focus. Some other person is, I want the experience I want people that come in contact with me to have. Some other person, like, I just want people to comment. So it depends on what your focus is. You have to have that focus.
Well, it goes back to, discovering what your focus is by fully understanding yourself first. I think that's really, really important because until you really know yourself as in terms of creating a personal brand for yourself, how can you possibly begin to find your audience?
Right.
That's a question in my mind.
Exactly.
So this brings me back to this is why it's very important for you to experiment, because you have to know who you are intrinsically. Once you know who you are, then you can select how to present who you are in the most authentic way.
But one thing is, you don't have to discover who you are before you start. By starting, people can help you discover who you are.
Precisely.
So branding is also letting people tell your story as much as you're telling your story.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Or just kind of helping them to help you to discover your story. Because I feel like the story is already in there somewhere. You're just trying to unravel it and trying to bring it to the surface and then present it to people in a way that they can easily digest you.
Exactly.
Right? So absolutely, I absolutely agree with that.
Yeah. So
carrying people along that journey too.
So I believe personal branding is about putting yourself in the position to help others. If you see it that way, then you realize it's you bringing a solution to people. It's you bringing a solution to people. It's not you trying to sell something to someone.
Yes.
You know.
So
So it's more of
it's
more of the experience and what you're giving. You know, because with that authenticity of what you're bringing to help, it could just be the way you talk makes someone confident about themselves.
Inspirational.
Exactly.
Let me tell you my three.
Tell me.
Like guiding, like in terms of everything that I create. So if in every content that I create and I'm putting out there and I'm pushing to people, I always want people to feel inspired. That for me is incredibly important.
That is your focus.
That is I want you to literally leave my Instagram, leave my Facebook, leave anything that I've created for you, whether it's my vlogs, whether it's it's podcasts. I literally want to leave you feeling inspired. I want you to feel as if whatever you thought you wanted to do, you should leave Susu podcast, leave anything Demi Samande puts together, feeling like, wow, I can do this. So I'm telling my story in order to make you feel like if she can do it, oh my God, I can do it.
Absolutely.
I can do it and beyond. That for me, it's like, wow, if I've done that, I feel great.
Great.
The second thing is I want you to feel almost, maybe, I don't know what the right word is, but I want you to feel that it's real. I'm not trying to give you any sugar-coated stuff. Yeah. I'm not trying to present it to you in a beautiful box that, oh my God, this is perfect life. Be an entrepreneur. It's so wonderful. Your life would just be stupendous the moment you decide to be an entrepreneur. I want you to understand this stuff is hard.
Absolutely.
I want you to understand that, you know what, there are times you're going to feel like, forgive my word, you're going to feel shit.
Yeah.
There are times you're going to feel so little. There are times you're going to feel that you are such a failure and there's no getting out of it. But I also want you to understand that is part of
Being
the
an
journey.
yeah,
It's part
exactly.
of it. It's not to make you feel bad. It's to make you understand that those moments when you feel bad, there's a silver lining every time, because it's not so much how many times you feel that you failed. It's how many times you can get up.
Right.
So I'm trying to document my process. The moments of the week where I feel like everything is just upside down, the world has come to an end, I put the camera on. I say to my guys, get the camera out.
Exactly.
Get the camera out. If we're having a bad day, we're going to tell you we're having a bad day. If I'm frustrated, I want you to see that I'm frustrated, because there'll be moments when you're going to feel that way. Because if I'm just giving you the perfect version of my journey, you're going to feel the moment you have a bad day yourself, you're a failure.
Right.
You're going to feel like, why she got it all together?
Yeah.
And here I am struggling. So it's really important for me that you get that realness. The good days you see, but the bad days you have to see them as well. So that's, for me, it's inspiration. It's that realness. And the down to earth is really important for me. The idea that you can just reach out and I'm there. I'm not a superhuman being.
Exactly.
There's nothing particularly special about me.
Some people, their brands are like superhuman, you know. You can't reach out to them.
Oh yeah, you can't send them a message. You can't even be yourself around them. How dare you? You know, I'm too high up here. I'm not reachable. Everybody is beneath me because I have arrived.
But guess what? They build their brands to be that way.
Well, I think,
and that's okay for them.
That's good for them.
Yeah.
But when you come to Demi Samanda, you come to Susu podcast, I want you to feel that realness and that down to earth, that it is, we're just all trying our best, striving. Some are doing better than others, but does not mean you can't also do well.
Absolutely.
So those, for me,
that doesn't mean you can also fail tomorrow.
Everybody does.
Yeah.
Everybody does.
Yeah. Failure to me is like a force to drive harder.
Failure for me is, it's like the thing that makes me the most stubborn version of myself.
Absolutely. Because I failed, me, I want to
but it also
succeed.
Hurts.
Absolutely.
It hurts. It's excruciating, as I like to say. Excruciating
it is painful.
Pain.
You feel like it's the end of the world.
But it helps you.
Yeah.
It drives you. It motivates you. Because you cannot stand failure. Failure does not belong here for me. Failure and I don't see eye to eye.
Yeah, it's just a learning
sworn
curve.
enemies.
Yeah,
but it's that enemy that you have to see on a regular basis sometimes in order for you to grow. So it's tough.
Yeah, it is
super tough.
But what you're doing is you're creating a positive impact with your personal brand. So with that, you're building a community of people who connect to you, your authenticity, and the zeal to learn how you're doing it all. Your personal brand could save someone's life. Do you know that?
Many personal brands have saved mine.
Yeah.
It's very, this is
so
the
it's
importance.
A personal,
yes.
It's not just about, it has to look amazing on the gram. It's you. It's a personal, story. It's a personal touch.
Well, just to say as well, back to your point about some people, not everybody has this approach to their personal brand, and not everybody has to have this approach.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say.
Not everybody has to. This is why I keep driving at you have to know who you are intrinsically, because everybody is different. So somebody can be watching this, for instance, and thinking, I like the way Demi is doing her personal brand. Mm-hmm. But you are not the person who strives in sharing your realness. And if you know you're not the sort of person who strives in sharing your realness, don't share it.
Right.
If you're not the type of person who strives from sharing their failures, don't share it.
Exactly.
Share how you can touch on it sometimes, you can talk about it,
but it's not your core.
It's not your core.
Yeah.
So you need to really do the work. For me, for personal brand really is about doing the work to discover what is within that you need to bring out to light.
That's it.
Right?
Having that focus, having that vision, writing it down. This is what I want to talk. This is what I want my personal brand to, the story I wanted to tell.
Yeah, those three things.
Exactly.
The top three things you want. Everything else can fall in alignment, right?
But those things has to be, because without that, you can't be authentic. You can't be consistent. You can't be real.
Well, you'll be driven by the numbers, wouldn't you? You'll be focusing on, they don't like it today, so let me hide this part of myself. Honestly, it's tough.
It's tough, but I mean, you just have to do it, because it's at the end of the day, it's you. It's personal brand is you. I keep saying that it's personal. It has to be you. It can't be someone else. You're just one. So it has to be that realness of you, and that's the real story of you. Whether you want it online or offline. It doesn't have to be online. There are a lot of people I know with amazing personal brand, but they are not online. But when you come in contact with them, you almost know their personal brand.
Like it just flows off them, right?
Exactly. So it could be how they talk, could be how they dress, could be how
their demeanor, character.
Exactly. So it's not just about social media. It's beyond that. It's almost as if it's your life. Your personal brand is
you have to breathe it.
You have to live your brand. You have to live your personal brand.
So what is the importance of having a personal brand, would you say? What are we trying to achieve in essence?
So to have having a personal brand builds you recognition and trust. It says who you are. It also helps you to build a legacy. Because you want people to remember you for something. You want to leave a mark. You want to create impact. So having a personal brand leads you to that. Also, having a personal brand also helps you with your businesses too. So it also aligns and gives a voice to your businesses and things you stand for. Because if you don't have a personal brand, how do you start?
Well, I say that, it's, absolutely. So personal brand allows you to, so it gives you more trust.
More trust and expectations as well.
Visibility makes, it grows trust.
Absolutely.
Well, not necessarily. Let me rephrase that. Visibility allows people to know who you are. Yeah. Right? Then there's it allows you to negotiate better.
Absolutely.
Because if I know you and we want to do some sort of transaction, it gives you more of a negotiation power because you've built a brand.
Yeah.
You're visible,
credibility as well.
Built credibility.
Yeah, exactly.
And it also allows you to earn more. If I know you, I'm able to negotiate with you. That's, I think I read it somewhere, it was like 10 to 25% more earnings for people who have personal brands.
Absolutely.
So for those who really want to make that money, you really need, if you're in that entrepreneurial space.
Especially entrepreneurs.
And
millennials.
I absolutely agree. Yes.
Because people are making a lot from just being intentional about their personal brand.
Well, businesses would not be using influencers so
you know
much
what I mean?
if it wasn't working.
Businesses don't even do regular adverts anymore. They pay just for having a personal brand and having a community that responds to the story you're telling. Yes. You can make a lot. Even if the money is not your core, just impacting people.
Well, like I said, everyone's auditioning for things that haven't happened yet. So you don't even know what your personal brand is going to do for you in the future. So that ability to build it now is important. Is very, very important.
It is. We're in 2020, so the world is digital. So you have to, you can't sleep on it. You have to get on the bus. Because at the end of the day, it will help you. It's not going to bring negativity in terms of you losing things. It's going to help you better with business, with yourself, with people around you. It makes things better. Just being intentional about your personal brand. Yeah,
fantastic. So. Ebele, I've thoroughly enjoyed that. I honestly have.
You.
Guys, I hope you've enjoyed this episode as well with Ebele. I'm going to be taking a lot of the nuggets you shared with me today because your platform teaches, and honestly it teaches people and it equips people with the knowledge that they need to improve themselves and improve their businesses. So Brandbox is there if anybody wants to reach out.
Brandbox Africa.
Yeah. Do you do consultations as well for personal branding?
Yes, we actually do personal branding.
Well, you guys, there you go. If you need a little bit of help with your personal brand and really identifying what it is that you want to do, what you want to improve on, then I'll drop all the details on Brandbox at the bottom of this video. So guys, yes, discover who you are, do the work, live and just live your truth. Just discover who you are in the moment. Don't be scared of feedback. Don't be scared to experiment with who you are. We all have many, many layers to us. We are not just, we're not just human beings, they're just there, but we're constantly growing, constantly discovering who we are. And if you don't know what your personal brand is, you just have to look within and discover it. It's there deep down. Just
absolutely
bring that stuff to the surface.
just tell your story.
Tell your story, be authentic, and just reach out and just let everybody know who you are and just share, because there's something you definitely have inside you that we definitely want to connect with.
Absolutely.
So there you go, guys. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. Have a wonderful week, and please don't forget to be extraordinary in the way that only you can be. Take care, guys. Bye.